Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria, where from the north to the south, east and the west, we tell you what's happening now across the Nigerian Federation. I'm Olumide Mokoli. Thank you for joining us. On today's program, former President Olusegun Obasanjo supports calls for the autonomy of local government council administrations. Four die as flood waters sack 7 villages in Nasarawa State. And the Benue State government moves to curb herdsmen attacks on farmers and villages across the state. We'll begin in the southwestern region of the country. A former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, has described as unconstitutional and abuse of process the seizing of local government functions and duties by state governments across the country. He was speaking in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, when the Nigeria Union of Local Government Employees, led by its national president, Mr. Ibrahim Khalil, paid him a courtesy call to enlist his support and understanding on the issue of autonomy for local governments. The former president says this has hampered the necessary development at the grassroots and appeals to state governments and members of state and national assemblies to ensure the sanctity and constitutionality of the local government administration.
Very, very sadly, the state authorities, almost without any exception, have usurped, encroached, and bastardized local government and take it away from where it is supposed to be. It will be wrong for the federal government to do to the state government what the state government are doing to local government. And the state government will not accept it. And it will be, in fact, unconstitutional for the federal government to do the same thing to states. So I can only appeal to the good sense of those who have good sense among the state leaders and to our lawmakers, both at the national level and at the state level, to observe the sanctity, the integrity, and the constitutionality that establishes the local government.
Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria. Unless Nigerians rise up against drug abuse among youth, the nation may not have a healthy citizenship that will contribute significantly in nation building. That's according to Nigeria's Minister of Sports, Youth and Development, Mr. Solomon Dalong, during a visit to registration centers of the federal government's N-Power project in Kano State, northwest Nigeria. The minister told journalists that the federal government is intensifying efforts towards awareness creation on the dangers of drug abuse.
The most important thing is to try to free the mind that has been held captive by this particular act. We are doing much in that. The second stage is rehabilitation. Those that had now given up will require some form of intervention. And if you look at this budget of the social intervention in this year's budget, it is the highest in the history of this country, 500 million. Youth empowerment program, youth development related program, youth and other social vices, all incorporated, women empowerment, women and social related problems all together. If we don't tackle this, we may not have a healthy nation that will be competent, or we will not have a healthy citizenship that will be competent enough to contribute to nation building.
Minister of Sports, Youth and Development, Solomon Dalong. It appears Nigerians hoping to get immediate medical services from the various public hospitals across the country may have to wait a little while longer, as the Association of Resident Doctors is insisting that its ongoing strike continues. The president of the association, Dr. Mohammed Askira, says even though the stakeholders meeting called by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, yielded some results, relevant organs of its organization still have to meet to examine the agreement.
The issue of the intervention by the Right Honorable Speaker, Honorable Yakubu Dogara, it is a wonderful feat. And we have had that intervention with a spirit to really arrest the situation and bring the impasse to an end. During the interface, we were able to reach some appreciable positions on all the lingering issues in the demands. And you know, being a professional organization that is well organized, we have organs. And that organ of the association was what took the decision for the strike action. And as leaders of the association, what we normally do when an outcome of that nature is obtainable, we take it back to the council. And the council will now look at it, x-ray it, and see the substantiality and the applicability of all the positions that we have reached with the government, and then take and chart a positive way forward.
Meanwhile, medical professionals are weighing in on the matter, the strike by resident doctors. One of them, a former president of the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, Mr. Mike Etomi, says the Ministry of Health should consider other alternatives to resolve the problem rather than the directive that the striking doctors be replaced.
Sacking a whole set of doctors and trying to replace them is quite a challenging prospect. And I hope that the authorities there will look into it, you know, in a much more thoughtful way. With the doctors and any other healthcare workers, this is perhaps not the time to strike, because the country is going through unique challenges that we haven't seen in a long period of time. Not only is the naira falling, the oil sales falling, you know, new government and everything that's going on, so challenging all across. States are finding it difficult paying salaries, not because they don't want to pay. And private sectors are laying off workers. So if we put all those things in a perspective, the economic challenges we face, this is perhaps not the time for anybody to go on strike.
Away from the health sector, the Nasarawa state government has sympathized with victims of the recent flood disaster that occurred in 7 villages of Lafia East development area, resulting in the death of 4 people. Speaking to Channels Television, a special delegation of the government who visited the area to ascertain the level of destruction says that the prompt intervention is underway. The delegation also called on the residents of the riverine area to avoid building houses close to water channels.
I want to call for the people of the state, particularly for those people that are staying close to the riverine areas, to ensure that they keep away from the flowing water. They should try to readjust their buildings towards the higher land so that they can protect themselves from the flooding of rainwater.
This government is a very, very concerned government, sensitive government, a government that is people-driven, a government that is concerned with the concern and the problems of the people. I want to assure this community that the government and the people of Nasarawa State are very, very sympathizing with them, and definitely something will be done to remedy this situation once and for all.
You're watching news across Nigeria. Stay with us. Coming up, we have an update for you in Osun State on the use of hijab in public schools. Don't go away.